Welcome to this podcast, Mission GJ. At this time, we have Apostle Erickson Salazar, Leader Joshua Salazar, Leader Milka Benson, and Leader Jeffrey Sosa. How good. We're flowing in the prophetic for the house. That's right. From the house for the house. The place where we come to nourish ourselves with the word. And let's see what God has prepared for us today. In this experience in the mission, we are broadcasting from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we want to share with all of you the experience in the mission at the NABSHOW 2023. Where we are seeing the different advancements in technology and TV, everything that has to do with us as a ministry, and where we're going to visualize the different tools that we use in order to bring kingdom to every creature and be able to fulfill the great commission that Jesus entrusted us with. And in order to do that, and begin with this experience in the mission, we have Apostle. What has it been like, this experience for you at this convention? Well, really, as a ministry, we are very happy because this is our second visit to this conference where people come together in terms of all the different communication media and globally, where we become current with everything that is technology. And as a ministry, we come in a big group this time. And we came in a mission, and it was a big mission because we were able to bring people that work in different areas and multimedia, technology, production, TV, everything that has to do with content. And how good that God allowed us to come together of, many people that came to support in order for us to be here today. And we're enjoying that. And we wanted to share an experience in the mission because many of you don't know that many of the content of the ministry are produced in different countries. We've never said that, just today, but usually there are podcasts and different other different contents that are produced in the country wherever we find ourselves. So this time we're here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we're in this convention, technology convention, and really it's a big accomplishment to have as a ministry to be able to be current with technology, since technology is a tool that can be used to get the prophetic on top of that for it to flow and do more in less time, okay? Every day since the beginning, we've been on top of technology because we have a greater reach. So that's why it's so important for us to come with this team, leadership team, where everyone was enriched and trained. Their vision was broader in terms of how to do more with what we have and how to be current in order to take advantage of this. And it's not a secret to anyone that Christ is coming. And because Christ is coming, we need to use the tools that we have to execute this great commission of salvation, as you were saying initially. And what better place for us to do an experience in the mission, which is what we're doing now, to see what the experience has been of the leadership, which is different groups. This is the first group. There's going to be another group for them to tell us your experience, what you've learned, what you think can be applied from what you've learned here. So that's powerful. Lewis says this is powerful, and I'm going to start with my experience in the mission because I've always been, in the production side of things, behind the scenes and TV and such. And it was very profound for me, this mission. From the minute we came to the convention, my mind was blown of all the possibilities, of all the tools that we could use to bring forth the Great Commission. And aside from all the logistics, what we're bringing, I realized something. We don't have anything to envy to anyone. The level of organization and production, it's like a TV show, professional TV show, high-level professional TV show, and that says a lot because that's how we transmit that message in a high quality to everyone in society. Also, a lot of the feedback that we have received in terms of how we present kingdom, it's very positive and it's encouraging to us. We could see it even in terms of the different shows that we have, the different contents that we put out. You know, a lot of them are a result of the first visit that we made here. And Apostle says, yeah, that's why every time we come here, we come up with strategies, technological strategies, and that's why we always invite the leadership in order for them to acquire the vision. Because one of the important things as a ministry is that we work with our human resources. We don't contract externals, but we work with the people of the house. And what we would want is for all the ones of the house to be up to speed with technology. That's why it's important to bring people, because it's a lot of work and there's a lot to do and there are few workers. But at this time we have a lot of workers, but few teachers to teach these workers in terms of technology. So I would like immediately, using this dynamic, for Leader Milka, that it specializes in graphics, and for her to share her experience and how much she has taken advantage of this. Well, truly, from the beginning, like Leader Lewis was saying, it was like a boom in my head because I was only able to visualize how much we could do, how much reach we could have. And one of the things that impacted me the most was yesterday, listening to Apostle speak to one of the providers that was giving us like a tour from the many that we took, where you were saying, and how passionate he was. He was like, I have human resources. I just have to facilitate, give them the tools because there's a lot to do. And what we're seeking is to increment production because there's no time. And that stayed with me because I was like, yeah, there's a lot of work to do. And what we're seeking is to give the tools to the workers, equip the workers so that we could do the work in a more productive way. And for me, it's been very impactful because there's so much that could be done in such little time with the tools. In terms of what you do within the ministry, how did this enrich you? Well, in terms of projection, how to let the content facilitate the arrival of content for people because everything is produced for it to get to people. And the fact that we can translate content simultaneously within one of my areas of involvement in the kingdom, translation is important for the message to be uninterrupted, for it to get to people, but also get there with the pure essence, which is the most important part, for it to not be diluted, and to be able to have the tools available to facilitate that. It's huge. Apostle says that one of the things that we have to highlight is that we found a lot of tools that include artificial intelligence, where now there's more being done with less technical resources. And that impacted us because seeing the ministerial structure that we have, almost every format that is coming now contextualizes with what we are as a structure. And I was like, wow, we could use that. This is all that is created is for us. Because one of the most powerful things is that technology in terms of TV, radio, through all the different areas of broadcasting, we were impacted because everything can be worked remotely. See how powerful? And Louis says, in addition to that, it was funny to me because with every person that we spoke, they were giving us tools that our resources already do, or the vision that the Holy Spirit showed us from the beginning. And it's like now we could do it with the technology so that we can amplify kingdom. And Apostle says that's what I was saying. When we see that these resources, remote resources, and you know that we are remote, and you say, okay, you can have your camera director from any country directing, you can have the editor in another country, you can have your designer in another country, and you can handle even the cameraman from another country, and from a small central, you can handle everything remotely. You know that I live in different places in terms of the different missions. You know that I'm remote with the work that I do, the same way that we are. This that we're doing here is remote work, that we've always done it. We've never highlighted it, but from today we're going to start sharing from which place the production is coming. Podcasts, the different contents that we share, because we want to motivate. We want to motivate every member that, yes, it can be done. We want to tell each Joshua from wherever country you are that, yes, we can do this. We can do things for the kingdom, that we can use the tools of technology for us as prophets, because everyone here is formed to be a prophet and to take the good news of salvation forward. Okay? Therefore, we do this in order to motivate, because if we're doing something here in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's no more than preparing ourselves so that any human resource, wherever you are in the world, as part of Generation Joshua, we're going to integrate you in the work of the Great Commission of Salvation remotely. Okay? So it is good to also hear the experience of leader Jeffrey Sosa, who also works hand in hand remotely from New York. By the way, Milka is from Texas, so that you see that the team is remote. Texas, New York, and we're all converging here, enforcing the remote technology project of Generation Joshua. Jeffrey, what's your experience? Jeffrey says it's very powerful, first of all, to be part of this. It's an honor and privilege. Like leader Milka says, you are like, wow, there's so much that we could do. You mentioned that Christ is coming, and wow. For those listening, the code is that Christ is at the door, because that verse that says, go throughout the world and share the gospel. Today, it will be much easier to go to every corner of the earth and preach the gospel with the technology that is available today. The same way we're sharing with artificial technology. It's very powerful, all the knowledge that we receive in every forum that we were a part of. And seeing how we're going to be able to use this to expand what we've been entrusted to do. Something interesting, the Ministry of Planification, Pastor John, and together with leader Milka as a part of it, they planned this whole mission. And one of the things we took advantage of was to put everything together in terms of all the needs that we have with Alfie Lorenzo. We did the assessment of all the needs of the ministry to be able to go to different conferences and have to have different appointments with different consultants, just to be up to speed. We had appointments with different suppliers in order to receive the products, the new technologies, the new tools. We did not leave anything loose. It was 4 days of heavy work. We're here still at the end of it. Today's the end of it. But we wanted to do the experience in the mission, and we're here. But really, we take advantage to the max and didn't let anything drop. And we feel so happy that we can unite efforts as members of this body, like an ant, as we usually say, for the Great Commission of Salvation to be brought forth. And Jeffrey, how many tools were you able to tamper with and experience? How do you feel? It was many trainings, tools that we were able to be a part of. But one of the ones that impacted me the most was related to the ministry that I'm a part of, which is bilingual, which was a translation tool. And since we have a bilingual ministry, we transfer. There are softwares that are going to help us translate all this content that we have that right now is in Spanish, but we'll be able to transcribe and subtitle. And we're working hard to be able to expand and for content to be able to be shared in every language. Apostle says something interesting. Ever since I was born in this path, I always thought that there was a lot of human resources, but few tools. And one thing that I rejoice in the structure of Generation Joshua is that we work to give that human resource the tools. And that's why we're getting ready to give tools to all those that want to unite in this Great Commission. The same way, those tools that we give everyone is for them to execute that prophetic flow. Because tell me, if we don't give you tools, then you're not going to be able to go out of your four walls. You understand? So what have we done? We're here. Look, we take advantage of the any place. I repeat, those that know me, they know that I work and record from any place, any corner. It does not matter. I've been in Cuba, in Haiti, in Colombia, in Mexico. It does not matter. United States, everywhere, recording, always sending prophetic word, always sending content. I want you to know something. We have about 20 years sending content. This is not something we've been doing for the past 3 days. We're talking about 2 decades of sending content every day, and we've never slowed down. This is not something new. For those that don't know it. This is normal in this ministry for the past 2 decades. And we have influenced the whole ministry to also learn to use technology, to learn to use this thing that, this phone, and teaching you how to use your laptop and all the tools so that we can mount the gospel on top of that. Now, we don't only work with the older ones. We also believe in the youth and the adolescents and for them to be integrated in this. And for this occasion, we invited leader Joshua Salazar. What's your experience in the NABSHOW? It impacted me seeing the technology, Joshua says, seeing how the team flows, see the work of my parents. What do your parents do? Did they do anything that you noticed? My father talked a lot, yes. To see how he talks to people. And Apostle says, what impacted you? What did you learn in the midst of all the teachings in technology? Joshua says, what I liked the most was the drone technology, which is, for me that I work in technology, I'm the co-pilot of drones right now. I'm the one that does the aerial takes. And I was impacted by the technologies, the newest technologies in drones that will be helpful. Apostle says this is great, and that's why it's important to awaken this generation, because if there's something in these later times that we have agreed upon as a ministry, is to continue to work the infrastructure in order for us to use all of our human resources, especially the youth and the adolescents, where we want to fill their spaces working for the kingdom. So this experience in the mission that seems a little bit innovative, very innovative, is an experience in the mission, and it shows that there's no limits. There's no limits in terms of where to go. There's no limits. Apostle says that there were never limits. The limit was in our brain, and from the apostolic context, we've been very challenging and daring and confronting, because remember that Satan has always told us we're nothing, and since we were nothing, then we would tell you, yes, you are something. And the devil would say, you can't, and we would tell you, yes, you can. So this is like a beginning of a projection and exposure that everyone will have. Listen to this, everyone. So you will feel somebody tapping on your shoulder and telling you, hello, and I'm going to tell you, it will be me tapping at your shoulder. Don't be surprised. Don't be jumpy. Because, I repeat, there's much work and there are few workers. And even though at this time, I'm one of the ones that like to identify workers, meaning prophets, meaning God's children, meaning leaders, for them to join us the same way we have always said to all the members that come to the ministry. Today we are coming for you in every context of the word, but tomorrow you have to join forces with us to go for others. This is not a game. This is a life or death situation. This is life or death. If Christ comes, then we have to move with aggressiveness as you cannot imagine. I'm going to tell you something. Everything is going to stay behind. The technology that we are accessing, it's going to stay behind. But how good that the simplest things in our lives, our bodies, our neurons, our cars, our houses, everything, we're going to invest everything for the kingdom. We're not going to hold back effort for the word to arrive. Because let me tell you something. It was good the day I was saved. It was good how, to this day, there's not a day that I wake up that I don't say thank you. But it's even better when you can show others that same thing that you were given. So nobody could ever tell me that what I'm doing is not worth it. Yes, it is worth it. Yes, it is worth it. So we have to be clear that this is not a game. This is not child's play, and we're not here coming to be entertained. We're not on vacation or touring. We're working hard, because there are many waiting for us. But there's also a lot of human resources that need for us to teach them, that need for us to give them the tools in their hands. But what do we do with so many tools if we don't know how to use what we have? What do we do seeking when what we have, we don't use it well? And I'm not talking about you, Louis. I'm not talking about you, Louis. I remember a testimony one time I was recording and there were lights and everything. And then I told Louis, there's lights that are there that I brought them. And it was lights that Milka, you gave them to me. You gave me those lights. Because we weren't using those lights. And I'm the type of person that I use everything that I have. And I don't access. If I haven't used this cell phone, why am I seeking for a new one? See how interesting? And that's why we come to see what we have, to see if we have what we need or if we need something more, or if what we have is enough for us to do what we need to do. And we learn from everything. Let me tell you that instead of coming here to spend, we're coming here to see how we're going to save. Because sometimes you want to get into things that you don't know, you don't have a way to respond to that or cover it. The Bible says before you build, you have to sit down and do your assessment and do your budget and see if you have what to cover that demand with. Because it is embarrassing for you to take off and start building and then have to stop halfway. You know what a disgrace that would be? So we're taking steps that are concise and precise, without emotion, without motivation, but with precision, and above all with those that want. Do you want to join? Join. You don't want to join? Then stay where you are. But you're not doing anything anyways. But there will be a day when one will come in the clouds and will say, what did you do? Depart from me. Depart from me. It's that simple. So this is your first experience also for this sort of mission, Louis, internationally. How has it been? Louis, this is the first time that Louis comes internationally. And Louis says, what can I say? It was a whole experience, and it was like a intensive training and very quick about what to experience within the mission internationally. because literally everything flipped. It was a battle spiritually from the first moment. Because, I've always said that every time we go to on a mission, a recording, or anything like that, and things come up, I say, okay, I love this because this is going to be powerful. This means that the enemy doesn't want us to do this. Apostle says that's right. Louis says, since the enemy doesn't want us to do this, he's tripping us, he's doing this, doing that, and everything referring to trying to block the surrendering that we have, the commitment that we have. And this mission was very powerful. And I know that everything we're going to do from now on with the concepts that we have learned is going to be of a great blessing for many. Furthermore, many are going to want to join forces with us because of this. Of course, Apostle says, we wanted to share this experience in the mission because it's time for all the human resources in this body to awaken and be motivated because there's a lot to do. And there are many waiting for us. There are families waiting for us. There are friends waiting for us. There are cities, communities waiting for us. So this is not a game. We feel so honored to be able to continue to use that wisdom for all those that are involved can be part of the kingdom. How powerful that each one of us within your professions, we are turning it for the kingdom. And the most powerful thing, this is the first group. There's a second group that will be sharing in the second version of this, and will share their experience. But behind us, in the whole planning, there's a bunch of human resources. And it's the reason why we're here with a good logistic, even, for those that can't access this, there's others that say, hey, look, I'm going to sow the seed so that you can be there. And that's powerful. You can imagine how exciting this is when the body comes together. And like Louis was saying in his international mission, what he sees, I ask him now, and how was the apostle during the whole thing? Was he nervous? Was he shaking? Louis says that's the most surprising thing. He is a warrior, literally, because you know what it is, a rocket blowing up, an atomic bomb, people are running, and he's just walking. He's just walking at ease, allowing things to flow. I really do admire that because he has taught me a lot to be able to minimize things. Apostle says, yeah, the plane was going to leave us, but we were just taking it easy. And he was just taking it easy. That's what impacted me the most. Let me share the testimony of my experience internationally. We took a flight. We had to postpone the flight because of rain. And when we got on the plane the next day, it was delayed. And when we got to New York, we were running, trying to make the flight. That group of people running to make the next flight. And Apostle was like, okay, you want to see a miracle? You want to see the miracles and wonders? Apostle says the miracle says that when we arrived at security, there were about 2,000 people. And we had to be at the gate in less than a half hour. And there was no time. And I told Louis, it's okay, be ready to expect a miracle. And that's literally what happened. And not 5 minutes later, something happened and we were there 5 minutes later where that would not have been accomplished. Because if we missed that flight, then it's like 8-9 hours that we would have to wait. And we would have missed the objective of being here in this worldwide fair. So it's interesting. And we express this for you to know that these are missions where we are folding, we're coming under as a technical team for everyone to receive from home that everything has a production sacrifice. There's, we're doing this right now and it's like 2 a.m. in other countries. in other time zones, because that is kingdom. If one day somebody died for me in the cross, then what are we complaining about? What is the complaint? So that's why I tell you, in order for you to be clear, everyone who is of God hears the word of God. That is why everyone also that is of the kingdom will commit themselves completely for everything that is of God the Father.
Gracias por sintonizar nuestro podcast Misión GJ. Nos vemos en un próximo episodio.